for the nation. This program is suitable for general viewing.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very good evening. My name is Faisal Kassim and welcome to Live Real Talk. Now, economy is one of the issues or the key agendas that the current Kenya Kwanza administration got votes because of. They went around the country asking Kenyans to elect them because of the third liberation according to their campaign strategy. Third liberation, which was supposed to be the economic transformation. And that is why many Kenyans came out in what they call better bottom-up economic transformative agenda is what they came out with as a rallying call. So many Kenyans have had the economic heat on their pockets, which of course has transcended on their lives, talk of taxation, talk of the economic policies that has come out ever since the Kenya Kwanza administration got into power. Some of them have been good, but many Kenyans have been complaining. And some economic minds have been coming out and claiming that the president and his administration in general, they are coming out with what we call macroeconomics transformative policies, which in the long run then are expected to try and help Kenya's economic situation. Being at HorizonTV here tonight, we are looking at 2023 in general, some of the things that have come economically, of course, and 2024 moving forward. Then what are the plans? And most importantly, how should you plan for 2024? Not just plan, but what are the options? What are the available strategies that you could deploy to help your 2024 be a better year financially? That is if and only if your 2023 was not as good. My name is Faisal Kassim and this is the Live Real Talk. Now joining me tonight to talk about this amazing topic, very informative topic, I have two amazing gentlemen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Basically translate as you should ask the people who are knowledgeable amongst you if you don't know. Clearly, I do not know. And that is why I have brought them who know. Dr. Salah Abdi, Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you doing, my brother? Salama. And of course, Sheikh Saleh, who is a Sharia supervisory member from Takwasako, right?
Thank you.
Dr. Saleh is an economist. I've had him here before severally. Of course, alitupotea kidogo. He's back with more gray hairs.
Growing older.
Grown older and wiser.
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
Sure.
Karibuni sana, gentlemen. Amazing to have you on set tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Moko salama? MashaAllah, thank you so much. As you're organizing, please, Aban, can I get tea and water for my guests here tonight? Wasikuja kusema mimi ni mchoyo.
Wasikuja mchoyo.
We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Awesome.
Karibuni sana. So, gentlemen, just to get your touch and feel basically about the economy in this country so far. I'm going to start with you, Dr. How do you describe our current economic status as a country?
Okay, it depends on the person and depends on the sector of the population.
Yes.
But mainly it's difficult.
It's difficult.
Mainly for the population now it's very difficult. Prices of common goods are have gone high. The shilling has been depreciating for a while. It's I think the last time I checked it was about 152. I think it must have moved up. Petroleum, you have seen the prices of petroleum.
Yeah.
So basic goods, are usually dependent on the cost of transport, and cost of transport is dependent on petroleum. So there's a lot of it's very difficult. But again, you'll see that for some people it's not, because the sector of the population that works for government and goes with the budget, 6% of the budget is stolen. So those people who steal it, they're doing it very, very well. That's why you'll see Mombasa is now fully booked. That's what they're saying. The airlines are booked.
That's what they say.
The airlines are booked. The SGR was fully booked.
Yes, that is fully booked. True.
And so that means that the sector of population which is not affected by the difficulties that the general population has. So there is a disconnect between those who work with government, have access to this, lagasse of government, the large resources, and those who don't.
But generally, so in terms of macroeconomic perspective and view, you're coming out and saying that things are not good.
Things are not good. Things are difficult, specifically for every sector of the population, including business people.
Sheikh Saleh, the
Yes,
president came out on the 12th of December saying that the economy is stable, and the World Bank, according to World Bank's report, which came out actually yesterday, it says that Kenya's economic performance strengthened in 2023 despite continued challenges, with the real GDP growth accelerating to from 4.8% in 2022 to an estimated 5% in 2023. This is according to World Bank report that came out yesterday, the 20th of December. So do you share the same sentiments with what Professor is telling us here about the current economic status of the country?
Thank you very much, Faisal, for having me to this particular show. I appreciate for attending to this particular live or real discussion. Basically, you see, when the macroeconomics experts are looking at the economics, they have their own parameters that they look at. But again, we also have the other people, or rather the common mwananchi. He has his own parameters that he uses to gauge that is it working for him or not. And definitely, if it's not working for me as a common mwananchi down there, then I will definitely say that it's not working for me. But again, you see, those people who do, the statisticians who carry out the statistics and have got the data as far as economic is concerned, they could have a different story, because maybe they view the economy from a different perspective from how I view the economy as a local mwananchi down there. And that's why we are saying that the local mwananchi really needs to work very hard so that he can be able to input more in the production, so that we are able to meet, the production, and then also the supply, so that we are able to meet our daily bread. So basically, again, we've seen when the president came in, maybe to bring in about the subsidized of the fertilizers, as he had put it earlier on, as he had alluded, so that maybe we're able to work hard, so that we're able to increase the production, so that we're able to have the food production increasing, and we're able to meet our daily needs. But summarily saying is that things are not that good as
things are not that good.
Yeah, as far as the local community is concerned. But they're trying, so to say. Thank you.
You're being very diplomatic with your words. You're really choosing your words carefully.
Yeah, you have to. But that's what I'm looking at, because of when an expert looks at the economy, they have their own parameters. And Dr. Ari, as an economist, will tell you that the way they look at it is different from.
And of course, he has come out boldly and saying that things are not good, not unless you're.
But it's not, the World Bank report is different, because they have maybe different parameters that they use to come up with the report. And remember, they're also experts, and they have their own way of viewing the status on the
different
ground.
perspectives.
Yeah.
Opinions. So, but again, so which are opinions, which are facts. Anyway, we're going to get back to that. But again, now the Kenya Kwanza administration, when they came into power, first you alluded to, you touched on briefly, they had 6 transformative agenda. Talk of agriculture and MSMEs, talk of food security, decrease imports, as the president said recently. The second pillar was about housing and settlements, that is increase affordable housing, and they say that through that they're going to create employment and better the business environment. The third one was healthcare, the SHIF that is upcoming. The fourth one is the digital superhighway, creative economy, and last but not least, environment and climate change. Of course, we've seen the Africa Climate Summit, we've seen the COPs, and we've seen all these things, talk about the carbon taxes and all these things. So basically, the president is saying that these are the things that will help to transform this country and economy. And just to add on to what he said, when they came in as an administration, they found empty coffers. And he said that you cannot transform this country with subsidizing products. You have to subsidize the production. Dr. from where you're coming from, Unga was said to be at X amount, and right now the president is insisting that Unga is at a particular amount. Even the CS is going for shopping and saying that Unga is at a particular amount, right? Saying that he cannot subsidize the products, but he can subsidize the production at the production level. But the Kenyans are hurting in this case. So from your perspective, these pillars, do you think it's really helping or it will help in the grand scheme of things for as far as macroeconomics and the economy of this country is concerned?
Well, I think first of all, you alluded to the issue of the World Bank coming up and saying this 5% growth.
Estimated
we have to put that in context and say, this is like the average for everybody in the country. So if the 3 of us are sitting here and you have a million shillings and divide by 3, each of us potentially has 333,000 potentially, while both of us are sitting here with nothing. So you understand this is an average. So it is not that growth is not in your pocket. Yeah, it may be in the pocket of those people I told you were in Mombasa. So you can understand. For the purpose of the current regime, they had the election, the manifesto, which you have just read, which is 6 transformative agenda. Very beautifully done. But then you have to put that now, once it hits the reality, you know, now they come to government, and then they say they found the coffers are empty. So what do you do with that 6 when the coffers are empty? So they come and say, okay, we will not subsidize products. We will subsidize production. When do you reach there? Somebody who's hungry now, production will come in 3 years. How many years will it come in when you have actually production? So you have to be realistic about these things. You also have to understand that in the scheme of things in this economy, in the last financial year we collected about 2.55 trillion. Okay, trillion. But then that's a lot of money. But then we are supposed to pay 1.6 trillion in debt. In debt too. You understand? So it's less than a trillion that will come to pay everything. To pay the kind of expenditure. Yeah, and then the development. And almost about $1 billion will go to salaries. So you see, so when you look at it, they are in a fix. But you see, they are not actually coming out and saying, you guys, we are in a fix. You know, there is very little we can do. There is no wiggle room. They are not, again, doing what ordinarily when you're in a fix, what do? You cut on expenditure. Yeah. You reduce what you spend. You come and say, okay, we're no longer buying flowers for the CSS offices. We're not buying tea. We're not traveling. See, we expected that once they found the coffers empty, they will stop spending. You will not have, you know, pet projects for people. You will not have this kind of things. You will not have harambes where people are carrying, you know, loads of money. So all these things are militate against what they say. If you found the coffers empty, where is all this money that you're spending coming from? You understand? If you're telling us that you're paying 1.6 trillion in debt, and why are you spending so much? So it doesn't show that actually what they're saying is what they're doing. So we're not behind the scenes, so we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. But from where we are, the screen we're watching is not telling us. That's what you can analyze. Yes, what we're seeing is they're not actually being, you know, straight with us. So the question still begs, these moves that they're making, talk of subsidizing at the production level, talk of quote-unquote affordable housing, creating more jobs, but again at the expense of taxing Kenyans again, high taxation, the health insurance fund and all those things. Do you think ultimately then, in the grand scheme of things, they're going to impact how the economy is going to behave in the near future? Okay, I'm pessimistic about that because I have to be realistic. I cannot just be optimistic for being optimistic sake. You look at these things from the reality on the ground. You look at the debt. It's ballooning. It's now 13 point something trillion. Yeah. And people have to understand, this debt is in dollars. See, okay, 50% of it in dollars, 50% of it, okay, 40% of it is from the local market, so it's in shillings. The rest of it is in dollars. It's in dollars. Yeah. So if the rest of it is in dollars, every time your shilling loses value, your debt increases. Not mentioning the interest. Yeah. So we're in a cycle of debt which we cannot get out. So unless, you know, there is a very bright idea which is going to come, I don't think any of those things will be achieved in the near term. Maybe in the long term, maybe in a second term of the president proposed, but in this term that we are in, the second year, it doesn't look realistic. So we have to come to a position, you know, where it says, okay, we are not being optimistic about the government being able to do these things. So what we have to do is, how do you as an individual now react to that? How do you respond to what is happening in this country? How do you now you know, arrange your financing and your own income in such a way that you are not affected by these you know, volatilities about the shilling and the economy? Will you ever though? is it possible, Sheikh Saleh? Exactly, he's talking about tightening your belt actually. I don't have one, but but what I mean is that cutting on your expenditure. That's what they said, we should all tighten our belts. Yeah, and one of these methods is that you should not forget, of course, to save also. It's very, very important, as much as you don't have much to eat. But at the end of the day, you have to remember that what will happen in the near future. Because what we normally live on is that we are having hope that come tomorrow, things will be better. Therefore, what do you do? As much as I have the little that I have today, yes, I have to eat this particular percentage, and maybe the other percentage I may maybe be able to save in a given society or something of that kind, so that it's able to assist me when during the you know, the dry season when it comes.
Thank you so much. Of course, we've just preempted the next phase of this conversation, which is now contextualizing it now to the personal level, right? We've looked at the administration level and the policies and what they're doing. Of course, it's affecting us at the end of the day. But again, now at contextualizing it at the individual level, there is some consensus in the room, in the studio tonight, that economy is not doing good. Despite the World Bank reports and whatever parameters they may be using, but at the end of the day, the common monetary right now is still not in the best of places, or where he would want it to be, correct?
Sure.
Right? So then, what is the solution? How are we moving forward? Right? From the teachings that we've gotten Islamically is that Islam has the solution for everything. God created us, of course, and He created laws for us. He gave us Islam as a way of life. Islamic financial institutions, Takwasako, 1998, Gulf African Foundation, I think 29th May 2007, First Community Bank, which is now currently Premier Bank, right? Started again in 2006. So all these are financial institutions. You have Dubai Islamic Bank. We have all these other Islamic financial institutions that are coming out. So then how can they play a part in offering the common monetary, particularly in this country, for a solution that they are looking for as far as finances and budgeting is concerned? I'm going to start with you, Sheikh.
Thank you very much, Faisal, for this. And one of the major issues is that once you are coming into the financial sector, is that we come in with a mindset that I'm coming into this particular sector and I want to benefit. Be it investment, in terms of investment, I want to benefit. Be it in terms of getting advice that I need to invest in certain areas that are bringing return to me, be it in the short term or be it in the long term. Yeah, as much as conventionally, we have got banks that actually give in, or the financial institutions that actually are able to assist people to invest. Though they have conventional instruments that bear interest, and they therefore realize that as Muslims, we may not be able to invest in those sectors, like maybe the treasury bonds, or the coupons, for example, or the treasury bills, and find that most people are actually putting their investment in these particular institutions because maybe the rates, the return on their investment could be at around 18% or 18.7% per annum, and then somebody says, yeah, this is a good place to go and put in the investment. But now, from a Sharia perspective, in the Islamic way, we are restricted not to invest in those instruments that are not Sharia compliant. Therefore, alhamdulillah, right now, as you have alluded, that since 1998 and going forward, from 1998 and up to date, we have got several financial institutions. They're offering Sharia compliant investments and solutions. We have got circle societies. We have got fully fledged Islamic banks. The
investment banks.
Yeah, the investment banks are also there. And therefore, we should first start and strengthen these particular institutions, first and foremost. We go in as Muslims. Right now, I don't see why, as a Muslim, you should be investing in a conventional sector.
And that's the point, Sheikh Saleh, that I'm trying to ask. That's the exact question I'm trying to ask. As a Muslim, I'm suffering, you know. I'm tightening my belt. I am reducing and cutting on my expenditure. But at the same time, I need to increase my income.
Yes, exactly.
Correct?
Yeah.
So how do I do that?
And that's what you're saying now.
I come to a financial institution. How do I get that? How do I do that? What are the benefits? Right? I can go to, for example, I don't want to name names. They didn't pay for marketing here.
Sure, I get your point.
Yeah, but I can go to some other investment banks. I put in my money.
Yes.
You know, and I can get profits or interest at very lucrative, what do you call it, rates.
Yes.
Right? But again, so if I come to the financial institutions, how can they come in as a solution for me as an individual, for Professor as an individual, for Mustafa here, my crew? Exactly. What are the solutions? What are the solutions that are offering to us as individuals?
Yes, that's very, very true. There are quite a number of solutions that are offered in Sharia compliant setup just to assist us in this difficult area, or rather difficult times that we are in. And as I've said, that for those of us who are privileged to have income, and even for those of us who are in the micro sector or the the micros and the small medium enterprises also, they can come in and also do the invest in these particular banks, because all of us do bank, be it even if you are micro, even if you are a single individual, or even you are a company, they do bank. They bank somewhere. There's a financial institution that they go in either to get financial advice or to get strategic partner with that particular institution so that they're able to invest in their investments. Therefore, what we say is that they should first and foremost know that they're going to be answerable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come tomorrow in the hereafter. Therefore, the first financial partner that they have to choose should be a Sharia compliant partner. That is very, very important. That's the point number one. So that this is the partner that is going to be with you right now in the dunya today to benefit in your financial arrangements and also in the year after. So that you will not have so many complicated questions to be asked in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that how did you get your money and how did you spend your money. Therefore, these financial institutions, you have first to come in and be either a member of that particular institution or open an account with that particular institution, so that from there you're able now to build a relationship. So that once you build a relationship now, from this relationship now you can be able now to come in and get various instruments that can be used to invest in, and then you're able to get a return. This, be it the circle societies, be it the Islamic banks, or be it even the investment banks that have come up that are Sharia compliant, they have various instruments that I alluded on. And once you come in and you are a participant in this particular institution, then definitely there are quite a number
just come in and find out
investments. And that's why, first of all, you go into them, you interact with them, and of course, with your history and with your good relationship with them, you'll be able to get investments. And the banks are coming up even with the investments in various, the fixed maturity accounts are coming in, which are investment accounts that can give you a return. Because as we see the site right now, there are those companies that are doing well, and also banking. We have individuals who are doing well, as Sheikh Salah has also alluded to this. And this particular money that is being invested, either by financing projects, and these projects that are being financed, of course, they generate a return. And this is the return that is going to be shared with the investors in these particular financial institutions.
Thank you so much, maybe, Prof, you have something to add to that, to just echo some of the sentiments before I ask my next question.
Okay, at the moment, in hard times, people actually survive through communities. You know, you don't survive by yourself, you survive through community initiatives. If you look at the Islamic banking, Islamic financial institutions, they are intended for community kind of, because it's owned by a community, it's a community thing. As at this point now, if you look at our economy, the economy is facing quite a few challenges. For instance, if you look at the inflation is very high. So if inflation is very high, as an individual, you shouldn't be holding cash. When inflation is high, you shouldn't be holding cash, because cash has a tendency to deplete. You imagine you have 1,000 shillings today, you can buy a certain amount. Next month, you can buy half what you will have bought this month. So your income is actually like being taxed by an unseen force. You understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. So many people are saying now, the salaries that they had, and which was very comfortable for them, it's no longer very comfortable, because the prices have gone so high that what they used to buy comfortably with their small salary is no longer possible. So if you hold the cash now, your savings are in cash, then you're in trouble, because your income is reducing. It's being taxed by inflation. So what you should hold is assets. Now, assets are very expensive now to hold.
Extremely.
Yeah, extremely expensive. If you want to,
because of the inflation.
If you want to go into rental property, minimum 7 million, 8 million. It becomes a lot of money. So the only way you can survive is now you create vehicles among yourselves that you can actually invest in, so that the money, it retains value. If it's in an asset, the asset price will go up, so that the value is retained, and probably you make an income out of that investment. So that kind of communities is how you survive. One more thing is, at the time of the financial crisis, I think in 2008, I think there's some time when there was financial crisis.
2008.
2009. There was a financial crisis, and when analysis was done, financial institutions based on the Sharia survived better than other financial institutions. So you can understand, because of the nature of, you link interest from the earnings, then that actually helped them survive. And this analysis was done by very highly reputable economists, and they said financial institutions based on the Sharia survived better than other institutions. So we expect that these small financial institutions we have here will be better vehicles for investment than the conventional financial institutions.
Islamic financial institutions, are they in some sort of utopia or something, or how exactly do they operate for them to, or rather for them to survive the cash crunch or the tough economic times? Because if you tell me that, for example, I'm just being the devil's advocate in this case and asking the question that may be lingering in a viewer's mind right now. You tell me that we come together, we invest as a community in an asset that we appreciate, right? So how this asset, how do we get these, for example, an apartment that costs 7 million, maybe a residential, right, where we are living in tough economic times and people can no longer buy apartments, or they can no longer rent apartments in high-end areas. They will want to scale down, they will want to downgrade, they will want to do something else. Or what are these business investments that you're going to invest in that's going to help our money either stabilize or appreciate in value, right? How do these Islamic Takwa Sako, for example, you've been a member, you're a member, holding a position, one of the officials. How will I benefit? What guarantee do I have that this money will appreciate? For example, if I come in and invest, what guarantee do I have?
There's no guarantee that, there's nobody who gives you guaranteed investments. Investments are based on risk, and risk is a general, exposure for all businesses. So let's start with that. Nobody's going to give you a guarantee that they're going to make money in any investment.
Good.
Good. So let's now, once we say
that's the base,
now
right?
So let's move to the next thing, which is the Sheikh will tell us. I think Islamic institutions are based on contracts that are based on co-ownership rather than income for one partner and
loss for
the other. So it's based on co-ownership. It's also based on a sort of a community kind of idea in which your failure you are defaulting doesn't necessarily have an adverse effect. It might actually have positive effect in the sense that the asset will be sold and you actually get part of your investment back. So
both the client and the bank will share the loss.
I'm giving a disclaimer that the Sheikh will actually be able to correct any mistakes that they make. So in that sense, it's better. And that it was very. What happened in the time of the housing bubble in the West was everybody defaulted on their mortgages, and so what happened was all the banks that held those mortgages actually failed. So there was no way to say, okay, can we look for a market for this property so that both the owner and the bank
share the loss,
or share the whatever proceeds that comes from that asset. So what happened was that automatic sense of you default, you lose, actually ended up creating a bubble, a housing bubble, which there was the mortgage crisis. So I think that those contracts which are actually structured that way are likely to survive in a crisis zone at this point. So people should be looking at issues of, okay, interest rates now have gone to, I think, 18%.
18%.
They're going to 18%. Necessarily does not mean that they're going to make money if you actually take a fixed deposit account in a conventional sense. Sometimes your income might not, whatever you're getting, your yield from that investment might not even be enough to cover the inflation that's happening in the market.
I'm going to hold it there because I'm being texted right now and I'm being napigia kelele kwa si masikio that we need to pay our taxes as well, much as we're talking about economy. And part of it is playing the advertisement that's about to play right now that calls for a fast break right here tonight. But again, the Sheikh is going to come back after the break and explain to us about the Musharaka Mudaraba. I think that's what Professor is trying to explain, right? About the contract and doing business. So you share profits and share loss at the same time. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are due for a fast break tonight. Just keep it Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Discover a world of learning where the best of American and British education comes together in the heart of Kenya. Welcome to Ilm Academy, where young minds flourish and dreams are realized.
ILM stands for Innovate, Lead, Mentor. In our school, we learn Arabic classes and we take also Madrasa classes.
At ILM Academy, we pride ourselves on offering a unique blend of the American and British curriculum, providing your child with a well-rounded education that nurtures creativity, critical thinking, and global awareness.
Our school uses a unique and innovative learning system. There are a lot of favorites I have in the school, but the one thing that stands out the most is playing football with my friends and bonding during meals.
Our experienced and passionate educators are committed to cultivating an environment that sparks curiosity and encourages students to explore the world around them. With the small class sizes, each child receives personalized attention, ensuring they reach their full potential.
We want to excel in education and our religious studies as well. We believe that every child is a holistic being.
But education isn't just about the classroom. At ILM Academy, we believe in fostering a love for learning through a diverse range of extracurricular activities, from sports to arts, creating well-rounded individuals ready to face the challenges of the future. Enroll your child today and give them the gift of a world-class education. Our admissions are now open. ILM Academy, where every child's journey begins.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
There's answer for that. You say halal things. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Horizon TV Live Real Talk. We are talking about budgeting and finance for as far as 2023 is concerned. And 2024, what's your plan? We've had here that Islamic financial institutions can offer amazing, great solutions. The only thing you need to do is just to walk in any of them and find out and see then what can we grab, what can we take that will help us to maneuver 2024. That is if your 2023 was not as good financially. Sheikh, Professor just before the break mentioned on a number of concepts. Talk about, for example, contractual, right? Talk about you doing business with the facility, with the institution, if it's a SAC or if it's a bank or whatever, that you're doing business. In the event that one thing that he said and stuck in my mind is that you share both the profit or the loss in the event that you happen to go to a loss, right? And he said that would clarify. He actually really passed the baton. Yeah?
Thank you very much.
For you to certify, approve or disapprove.
I will pick up from where he has left.
Yeah.
I realized that during the survival of these particular financial institutions, it was due to the principles behind this type of how the institutions are run. Remember, commercial institutions are run based on interest, compounding interest. As much as if you default, it's added back to the loan, and then the loan balloons. Actually, you could have borrowed 20,000, but if you default for a period of, I remember I was reading in a certain book that somebody who had borrowed 20,000 overdraft that grew up to several millions within a period of time because of the compounding effect, because of the interest. Once you are not able to pay, it's added back to the loan, and then it's able to grow. But now when you come to the financial institution of the Islamic financial institutions, we have specific principles that we adhere to so that we are able to be in line with Sharia. And one of the principles is that we have got the asset-backed financing. In that if you're coming into the finance that we are doing, then it has to be asset-backed or asset-based, or it's a service that we are offering to you to get a return out of it. And this is what has helped most of the institutions, because you find that the assets that are owned by the financial institution, either through partnership with the financial institution. And I've seen even at the society where we are, at Aqua Society, we have had chamas coming in, people who pull their resources together. And once they put their resources together, then they're able to invest in the society. Once they invest in the society, then they're able to acquire, like let's say, property. I've seen quite several. I've acquired properties that are rental that actually generate rental. Therefore, these properties that generate rental, they are able now to pay back to the financial institution a return. Because the financial institution, basically, they partnered, and after partnering, the financial institution now leases it as
asset financing, basically.
Yeah, basically asset financing. So, both in the purchase of the things that somebody might require, be it for consumption at personal level, or be it for investment level, like coming in to come up with a house for rental or rooms for rental. Groups come up, they collect their contributions, they invested at the society, then they come for financing. So this financing now is whereby they must have identified an investment that is going to bring a return to them or benefit to them. So when you invest this particular investment now, the Circle Society is able now to get returns through, once we're able to get also returns from that particular investment. And I've seen quite a number of them which have worked. Therefore, these instruments, being it the cost plus sell, whereby something must have been bought and then sold to you as a customer to get a return. And remember, in this particular contract is that particular return that you get in a cost plus markup is that it's a fixed. Therefore, even if there's a case of default on a rubber contract, let's say, so the rate remains the same. And also, even if you're going to default and be hit, like let's say maybe a penalty, it means that this particular penalty cannot be added back to the principal plus profit that was actually
vis-a-vis the conventional bank where the interest keeps on increasing
because that particular penalty that will be hit will be added back to your previous loan.
Yes,
and then now the loan now becomes if the loan was 20, now it becomes 21. And now the interest now is hit on the 21. That's now the compounding effect. But now from this particular model, whereby the bank can be able, or the society can be able to purchase and sell something to you at a markup, it means that it's gone, it has bought and sold. And therefore, it cannot have actually change the return that is there. So that's just one of the models that can be good for you to benefit in, because from that way you'll be able to plan.
Is there anything that dictates the markup, like a threshold? Is there anything? Is there any Sharia or law that is governing this markup addition, this profit?
Basically, from a Sharia perspective, we don't have a cap that a markup should be kept on this particular model or this particular percentage or this particular amount. We don't have from a Sharia perspective, because actually they are determined by the forces of the demand and supply in the economy.
Entirely business.
Yes, in the business. But now, when you come to the financial institutions that are basically regulated, basically by be it the central bank or be it the SASRA, they have regulations, and these particular regulations have to be followed. Like now, let's say like at this society, we set a markup that is agreed upon by the members, agreed upon by the management of the secretary. Then this particular markup is put when it's being bought and sold. Therefore, we don't have a specific formula to fix a markup, but basically it's a pre-agreed upon between.
Interesting that you mentioned that, and profound to loop you in just to pick your brain on this matter, because this is just word on the street. People are complaining, say that yes, I want to come to these financial institutions, but again, the profit rate, right? I'm not calling it interest, because this is the profit rate, right? It's a bit higher compared to the interest rate in the conventional banking. You go to, for example, conventional bank X, take a facility at, let's say, 8% interest rate, right? You go back to a financial institution, then you told you, no, what you're going to do, engage in asset finance, we're going to purchase this for you. But again, this is our markup, this is our profit, of which if you calculate, it comes to around what, 12%, 12, 13%. So you look at, you juxtapose it, you look at it, you know, compare and contrast, and you see actually what's better off in the given economy under the circumstances.
I think I'd rather not give a lot of opinion on that, because I'm not the expert on how they set their rates. But I think the rates are actually benchmarked against certain standards, and then there's regulatory issues that are also involved. So I'm thinking if they are to adhere to the idea of profit and loss sharing, and then they have to look at the protection of adverse effects. You know, if you default, then you don't lose. If we are to protect you against that, then the cost must be higher than if If it's lose, you lose if you default. See, there has to be certain systems in place that prevents adverse effects for both parties. So if that is the case, then it should be expected that it will be more costly.
In other words, you should not compare apples to oranges.
Yes, it's a very difficult.
but practically speaking,
Yes.
practically speaking, is that it's just a notion that people see Islamic finance as being expensive in Kenya. But from my practical experience, is that it's not expensive because number one, remember, you are doing this to satisfy Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, to make it, to meet your worship obligations, and therefore the issue of it being expensive or cheap should not come. Even if something is cheap but is haram, does it make it now? Does cheap make it halal?
No.
It doesn't make it halal. Or rather, does expensive make it haram?
Not necessarily.
Doesn't make it haram as well.
So therefore, the only thing that the Sheikh probably I will a bit vary from that is in the business world. In the business world, you have to look at two things. One is you are saying I'm a Muslim and I have to be within
the confines of Sharia.
The confines of Sharia. You also have to make a profit. So these are institutions that also have to make a profit.
Yes, exactly.
And they have investors, and they have people who work for them, employees, and they have premises to pay for, all that. So you have to look at it as a business first. Then you now, first of all, okay, you're a Muslim, so you will expect that's halal. Then you have to look at it as a business. So they have to make a return for their investments. But then if we move a bit further down to the individual person, now you see you as Faisal.
Yeah.
You look at it from, you're not looking at a specific bank, specific institution. You're looking at the wide range of choices available to you. So you look at the choice from when is it prudent to take a loan? When is it prudent to get a financing? When is it prudent not to get a financing? Financing is always good when the economy is growing. Financing is always good when the economy is growing. Financing is terrible when somebody else is expecting you to also produce return for them is when the economy is bad. So you have to look at that. you get it. So, and this is a very, very well-known principle.
Yeah.
It's good to get financing, to get into these contracts when the economy is growing, because the economy is growing, your profit will be growing faster than any return that you have to share with somebody else. You get it?
Very good advice.
If you take now something that fixes you to pay a specific amount of return to somebody else, it becomes very, very, very difficult when your profits are falling. So at point reaches when your profits will be lower than the obligations that you have to pay to others. So the risk of failure is there. So what should a typical business person do at this point? At this point is to survive. In 2024, I'm looking at if you survive, you have thrived. It's not if you make a profit.
Really?
If you're a business person and you have survived 2024 Kenya, I think you have thrived. So how do you thrive? One, you cut unnecessary expenses. You understand? Even individually, your income, you are earning a salary. Probably your employer will not increase your salary in 2024. So what happens is you have to live within your means. So communities have to look at it.
But they say the best way to defend is to attack. The best way to be defensive is to be offensive.
Yes, and then it's also we are in a market where you should be buying if you can. I told you not to hold cash.
Exactly.
So you should be. So surviving now includes, because we're in a buy market.
Yes.
People are selling assets to survive. This is the time you should
acquire the assets.
Acquire the assets if you can.
If you can.
But the perspective that you should have at this point is, one, you need to survive this hard time. So you need to cut expenses. You need to partner with others. Where you can even partner with people to share offices. Where you can partner with people to actually share other resources like networks and computers and all that. You understand? You create a situation where survival mode means least resources, efficient use of resources,
maximum
effective
maximum output.
Maximum output.
Yeah.
And then where you can invest, it's a buy market, so you can invest.
That's a good advice. Sheikh, I'm just going to give you a few seconds to give you your parting shot because you're already overriding on time, please. Few seconds, please.
Thank you very much, Faisal. But I think the most important thing, as Prof has put it,
yes,
is that we must think about saving. Maybe most people maybe are suffering now because we didn't maybe save when it was nice to save. But now, this is the time now actually you need now to learn and come back to your financial management skills and see that 2024 come, I want to plan it. And what am I going to do? You know, you have to save, you have to eat, and then there's also charity, remember. You have to give also back in charity. And this is a problem that we're having over in the society, that those ones who have are not giving enough in charity to supplement those ones who do not have in society. So I think my parting shot is that, number one, let's save. Number two, let's give in charity. Because in charity does not reduce your wealth, as we are taught by the Holy Prophet. Therefore, let's do the saving, let's do the charity, and let's plan our financials. Let's not consume what we cannot, like they say, let's not consume a big potato that we cannot swallow. So therefore, don't go for a financing that you know very well that will bring problems in the near future, as I echo Dr. Arya said.
Gentlemen, there's a lot we could talk about here. And then get some high risk, high returns, just risky to enter when things are going.
Yeah, you tawakkal.
Anyway,
we'll give you a return.
There's no risk. There's no return without risk.
Yeah, without risk.
So
you can never win if you don't play.
Unless it's interest. So which see.
Yeah. They also say you will never win if you won't play. Yeah, so you have to go into the field, play, and
you have to be in the field.
They never chance to win.
You have to be in the field to actually play the
game.
Exactly. The game.
Exactly. For you to win, so for you to have a chance to win.
You should not be scared. You should not be too cautious. You should not be, you should not be scared of your own shadow and then see things. You should just be normal, but then plan.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Guys, it's 3 minutes past 9. I don't think I have much to say because Salma is going to strangle me. So until next week, same place, same time, my name is Faisal Kassim, and thank you so much for keeping it live, Real Talk. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.